Exactly. You are on the Chat Network, 30 years of Eastwave FM. I am just so honored to be a part of the journey. And you know what? It's your favorite time of the week. It is Coach Zaid Ismail in the house. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing, Zaid?
Slow today. So let's see if we can have a chill but impactful discussion.
I am so sorry to disappoint you, but when you step through the door, all chill leaves. I'm just saying. As much as it's like we're winding down for the year, today we are about to get into a really interesting topic. Please tell us more about the topic we are talking about today.
So I was thinking this week about how it is that we seem to struggle with relationships, right? And the relationships that we struggle with is usually because we're not sure exactly what we're choosing.
Okay.
Are we choosing character and substance? Or are we choosing bling and flex and comfort?
Why are we talking about character versus flexing?
Because most people think they're getting involved with character, but they don't realize that they're attracted to the flex. The substance is what escapes us. And I'm more, as always, curious to know why it is that we have our such good, sincere convictions and intentions, but we get it so horribly wrong.
We're talking about romantic partners now. Or we're talking about friends, or we're talking about family. What are we talking about?
I originally thought this was going to be a discussion about marriage and romantic partners, but I think it actually applies across the board. Friends, social circles, your kind of colleague circles as well, professional circles, and very definitely family.
Yeah, they say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. What do you think about that?
I agree, and I think there's another one also that adds to that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Ish. Is it true though?
I think so. I think it's true because it's a reflection of what we're drawn to. And that's the interesting part for me is that what I do, how I do it, who I do it with, that's a reflection of what I think of myself more than it is about what I think of others. So, what it is that I'm desiring is what it is I'm going to be attracted towards. So, if you look at my social circles and you look at my interactions and you look at my lifestyle, that tells you what it is that I'm hoping to put out there.
What is the correlation between the flex and my sense of self-worth?
The lower the self-worth, the bigger the flex.
Aina.
That's something that most people don't like to hear, but literally, right? The more I think about this, and I'm not for 1 second suggesting that I'm like aloof to this or above it or anything like that, right? Because I'm speaking from experience. In the times when I was really indulgent about things that I thought was really cool, right? I genuinely thought it was really cool, but I didn't realize how much it was a reflection of what I was distracted from. So what I'm saying is that the more we're drawn towards these things that are fascinating and interesting and amazing, but doesn't have actual substance towards quality of life and about life itself, life purpose, that's a reflection of the fact that I'm more distracted by appearance and aesthetic than I am about substance and conviction and purpose.
What is the substance, the conviction, and the purpose that we should be, I don't know, conscious of?
Strangely enough, the example that comes to mind is in our family, one of my late uncles was always involved in soccer, inlands, right? And the one thing that stuck with me about that was that it wasn't just his love for soccer that was actually what drove him. It was more about what it is that it enabled for him to create as an opportunity within the community. So that became an opportunity for him to get kids off the streets and into a social and sports club, right? So that they could do something a bit more beneficial, more developmental, and all of that. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're only into the soccer because of the sport and the fan clubbing and all of that stuff, then there's no substance to that. That's purely just kind of like sensory and pleasure kind of fulfillment. But if there's something more to it, if it serves a greater purpose, upliftment of community, of humanity, service to others, and things like that, then you're doing it for substance, not just because it feels lekker.
I think there's also like a, I've got to let it look good. People have got to see a certain image of me. And
Yes.
that image is far from the reality of you.
Yes.
Yeah, and people fall in love with the image more than the reality.
There's this thing that millionaires don't wear labels.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
Right, and that I think that is a very simple and kind of powerful way to land this point, is that when you're not needing people to see how rich you are and how wealthy you are and how successful you are, because you just are, you are, you've accomplished it, you've got the recognition for it, and now it's more about like, okay, what do I do with this? Then you're not into the labels and the flash and all of that. It's just like, yeah, if I want something that I like, I'll get it, but that's not my purpose. I'm not working and earning so that I can get more.
That's amazing. I think that when you chase your purpose, finances chase you.
Yes.
Money chases you. That's the thing. It's like gambling, right?
Yeah.
There are people who will sit there staring feverishly, sweating at the machine, like, I've got to get this, I've got to get this. Then you have a oak who's just there for fun, just like pressing buttons and enjoying, like talking and not even distracted. And ting, 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 they hit it. And it's like, there's a science, there's a magic to doing your thing, falling in love with your purpose, and just allowing life to happen. It unfolds for you. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, right? And I try to take the kind of mystery out of it without losing the fascination of it, so to speak, right? And in a strange way, that's my idea or my notion of a romantic life. It's about seeing the fascination about life itself while also figuring it out. Whereas usually when we figure something out, it becomes boring and then we move on. So when it comes to this sort of thing, it's like understanding what is it that is really driving that fulfillment, that sense of purpose, the fact that I didn't have a wasted day, because when you have a busy day and you get home and you think, I'm exhausted, but I don't feel like I accomplished anything significant.
Yes.
That is an indicator that you don't have substance. You're doing things because you have to. Now, when it comes back to the topic, character versus flex, the ones who are flexing will end up feeling like that a lot, and then they'll need more outlets to be able to unwind, decompress, vent, or just exhale or relax, whatever it is. And that's the indicator, is that if you need a lot of kind of, what's the term, recreational activity to be able to unwind from your week, you need to seriously step back and consider what's the substance and the purpose that's driving what you do for the week.
So, what happens when a person of substance meets a person who's flexing and the two of them think, and I'm saying think, that a relationship will be a good idea, and they get into it?
I think, oh boy, this is going to be an unpopular response. If you believe you're a person of substance and in hindsight you recognize that you were attracted to someone who was flexing, then I got bad news for you. You weren't a person of substance.
Really?
Yes. Because here's the thing, right? If you're a person of substance, you'll be drawn to looking for that kind of meaningful engagement and content, and it's something I call correlation, right? It's if someone says that they're a deep person and the only thing they can do is regurgitate someone else's philosophy, they're not deep. They're just academic about philosophy. So if someone says that they're a person of substance, the fact that they're saying it means that they're not it.
And here's me going, I am authentic, I am real, I am a person of, I'm deep. That's what we say.
Exactly. And I mean, that point just like kind of crept up on me. That's why I can't hold myself back from laughing, because it's like, I'm a humble person. No, you're not. I'm so happy. No, you're not.
True.
If you have to go out and tell the world everything, then that's what you need them to see. It's not what you feel. If you feel it and you just experience it and it's just your state, then that's how you just operate. You don't have to tell people you're operating that way.
Of course, they would see it in you, and then you would be walking your talk, literally.
Yes.
Right?
And it wouldn't be something you'd have to do consciously. It's something that just happens because, it's like, think about something that you're really, really, like, not just good at, but something you're genuinely interested in, right? When you're in that zone and you're just applying yourself, and some people call it that flow state that you're in, right? When you're in that space, you don't have to tell people, hey, I'm in that space.
No.
You're just in that space,
Yeah.
right? And you're just making something amazing happen. You're creating something amazing. You are contributing something amazing. Whatever it is, that's because of the conviction and the presence of mind and that connection you have with why that is important to you.
Yeah. And the
That's
camera
it.
doesnn go along with you.
No.
If people recognize you, it's by chance.
Yes.
Because you're too busy with your purpose to be like, listen, yes,
Exactly.
here, look, I'm doing this. Look, I think people are even flexing about depression and anxiety.
Worse than that, they're even flexing about grief. It's like they got all the time in the world to set up a camera and show people how it is that they're crying. Seriously? And not just... Here's what I'm saying about how it is that if you're a person of substance, if you're operating with substance in that moment, you won't care about any of that. Is that, think of everything that goes into posting something online, right? So now I'm like really grieving the loss of someone important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in that grief, I've got time to set up my camera, get the filters, do the edits, do the uploads, do the shares, and respond to comments and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
In my grief.
Yeah. And be like, no, I didn't cry properly there. Let's go do a second take. I think I gasped too soon.
Yeah,
Hold
oh my
on.
God.
Yeah. The mascara's running.
Yeah.
Guys.
I wasn't supposed to ugly cry. It was just supposed to be like a somber cry.
Yes.
No, there's something wrong with us. When we see that and we think, well, that's us sharing it so that we can feel supported and everything else. The one thing I always have to remind myself of is who's behind the camera. And if you're doing it for yourself and you're setting up the camera for yourself, what frame of mind are you in to want to capture a moment that is supposed to be so deeply emotional? Are you really deeply emotional, or are you capturing a moment where you want to demonstrate that you can be deeply emotional?
And it's a mental health crisis.
It is.
I think it's a mental health crisis. I remember when selfies, when people were taking selfies,
the selfie culture.
people were like, okay, fine, I did take selfies. I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I'm saying that it was then classified after, I think it was Kim Kardashian uploaded, I don't know how many, as a mental disorder.
And you know what? I came across something yesterday that is really, really encouraging. With all the fantastic work we're doing with AI these days, and kind of like augmenting or embellishing our profile pictures and our videos and everything else, apparently there's been a noticeable 10% drop in online traffic on social media since AI took off.
Wow.
And the only thing they can attribute that to is that people don't like to see things that are too, manicured or very well put together. They want to see the raw stuff. They want to see something that's spontaneous and that's real.
Yeah.
So the more effort we put into polishing our appearance and polishing our presentation, the less people are going to connect with you, because there's lack of authenticity and substance and conviction in that.
They literally say you're fake.
Yes. So if you're presenting formalized content, right, then you want to polish that and you want to make sure that it's powerful,
Perfect.
close, it's getting the message across and everything else. But if you are just relaying something that, or narrating something that is something that happened to you, that's something that you thought was amazing, or you had a good experience about something and you want to share why it was an important thing for people to be aware of and things like that, has to be something a lot more spontaneous. And applying filters and everything else, the filter culture, the selfie culture, I've always said the same thing. If you are not comfortable with your natural state and you need a filter before you go online, what does it say about you? Not whether or not it's okay and you mustn't judge and all of that. It's not a judgment. It's a point of reflection. What does it say about who you are and what you think of yourself? If the only time you're willing to put yourself out there is if you've got some way of making it look more attractive than it actually is.
And that's the thing, a lot of people, like I watched this episode of a talk show when I was growing up, the Tyra Banks talk show, right?
Mm-hmm.
She being a supermodel, she knows the complexities of image, self-image,
Yes.
right? And body positivity. In one episode, she absolutely had to take 10 teenage girls and they had to leave the house without makeup. They broke down. They couldn't leave the house. They were like, nobody can see me. I have, acne. I have this. It was so shocking to see.
Spots and marks and all of
Yeah,
these things.
they were. I was shocked to see, like, you can't leave your house. Man, you should come to South Africa and see what we look like. Like, this is a thing. 4-hour makeup, 3-hour makeup, 2 hours on your makeup. Like, you can't leave the house without putting a mask on. Why are you so uncomfortable with who you are and how you are looking?
And as ridiculous and as extravagant and all of that as that might sound, it's intensely sad, right? It's incredibly sad because it tells you how low people's opinions are of themselves,
Yes.
right? And that's my point. As long as your opinion of yourself is low, you're going to flex because you want people to see more than that, not who you are.
Yeah.
And then when someone is attracted to your flex and they don't know how to look for substance, you can't give what you don't have, so you'll only know what to look for about substance if you have it within yourself. So if you're living a purposeful life, life with conviction, life with substance, where you know that there's something that's greater than the sum total of your self-indulgence or you just feeling lacquer about life, you'll know how to spot that in someone else, not just because you're looking for it, but because you'll feel it.
Yeah. You're self-aware,
Yeah,
so you know what to look for
exactly.
and connect with.
And the moment someone doesn't connect, the moment you can see there's a lot of showmanship and a lot of extravagance and a lot of like pomp and all of that, it will feel kind of like off-putting or repulsive because it's like, no man, I need someone who's like doing this thing, not someone who's selling it off to everyone else for more than what it is.
And sometimes people with flex would be, because of their deficit, would be looking at the person of substance and thinking, aha, there is something there, I'm not sure what,
Yes.
but this person can make me look good.
Yes.
Like, not in a, they don't know what the substance is. Remember, they're the flexer. But there's something that they sense in the flex, in the, or like the person of substance, like, aha, I can also add you to my collection.
Yes.
To flex.
And then I become this master curator of substance.
Collector of rare things. Like, oh, look what else I got. I acquired it.
Yeah, it reminds me of the
Yes.
collector from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? Because, and that's the thing, right? When you go onto social media, when you go into the public domain, I honestly believe that we're all curators. That's it, right? We're curators of content and we're looking for an audience. That's the purpose of social media. If you want to deny the fact that you're looking for an audience, you're lying to yourself. Unless you're going onto social media and you're not putting anything out there and you're just following accounts and consuming content, no problem. That will be a reflection of your interests and what you see of yourself and all of that, right? But if you're going out on social media and you're sharing anything, whether you're sharing reels and jokes or something serious, whatever it is, you are looking for an audience. Now, that in itself is not a problem. The problem is if you're in denial about it.
Why is that a problem?
Because then you don't know what your purpose is. So if you're looking for an audience, let's say you're posting content that's relative to a hobby of yours. 5-minute crafts. Most annoying reel sometimes. Gives you this false expectation that, hey, that's so easy, let's try it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's not a 5-minute craft.
That video has been heavily edited to fit in that 3 minutes or 2 minutes. But
And it's not as easy as they make it look.
No.
Yeah, anyway, so that's the thing, right? If I'm going to be sharing content that I know that it's a specific interest group and I'm looking to further my engagement and understanding and skills and talent and knowledge of that interest group or that subject, that's the kind of audience you're looking for. So it's about knowing why you're in it, right? That knowing why is always critically important. So if you're going onto social media and you're posting stuff and you're sharing your holiday photos and you're sharing your family moments and all of that, why? Are you sharing it with family or are you sharing it with people who have no idea who you are and what you're about? Or who your family is? Do they have any impact in your family's life? Why do you need to share such intimate moments? And I'm saying intimate because that emotional intimacy between people who are supposed to be close to each other, that's what's lacking. And
also,
that's substance.
I mean, when people are in, on social media, how are they affected by the number of likes?
Oh,
how let's just talk about that. The number of
Yes.
likes. How does it affect people? How does it have the power to make people's mood up, down, make me feel better about myself, make me feel worse, how many views I got, how many likes I got? Like, what is happening there?
And that's when you become a slave to the algorithm. Because you then produce one clip that suddenly out of the blue gets like 10 times more reactions than all your other clips. What's the first thing you're going to do? Try and figure out why this one is so popular, right?
Yeah.
And then all your future stuff that you want to capture. Previously, it might have started as an innocent kind of like, hey, look, this is so cool. Look what we're doing and what's your family moment like. Then eventually it becomes you curate your family moment to shape it a certain way so that you can have the elements that you need for that next reel that's going to give you the reactions.
Yeah.
You're no longer in it for the family moment.
Yeah. I kid you not. It is the most annoying thing to have someone around you where their phone is like this.
Yep.
They're like, hold on, don't touch the food. Before we did it. Hold on. No, everybody, just walk. I want to take a picture of everybody. It's like you're not present. You're not here. And then, they will post it. And the next thing you know, they are more happier about the reactions than they did about the reactions of the people around them.
Yes.
And that's flexing.
That's flexing, and the reason you would do something like that, where you're more interested in people who you have nothing to do with, versus the people who are immediately around you sharing that moment with you, that is sad. That is at the heart of the destruction of social fabric, right? Because we become so consumed by how strangers perceive us, so that we can flex with the people around us. Say, hey, I'm popular. Look at all this reaction and all of this comments and all of these praises that I'm getting and how viral my reels are going and all of that. So you guys got nothing on me. You need to listen to me. I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. It reminds me of what you said about significance.
Yeah.
Some people just want to be significant. And that means they want to be the loudest in the room. They want to be visible.
Yes, exactly. And so look at how all of these things we're talking about talks about a desperation for inclusion, a desperation for validation, a desperation to be seen. Meanwhile, when you live with substance, right? There's that old saying that says that don't go looking for love, do what you love and your love will find you.
Yes.
Right? It's because when you are passionate about something, you're going to attract other people who are passionate about that same thing. And that's how automatically, through conviction and substance, you'll be significant around people who you actually respect.
Yeah.
Because they are equally competent and passionate and masterful in that craft or whatever it is, right? But we don't know how to do that anymore. Because now we need to get the reaction and the affirmation and the validation and all of that nonsense first. And then only we'll feel like, okay, now I feel like it's a safe space for me to want to do something.
And that's the thing. It's alignment.
Yeah.
Alignment, right? They say your vibe attracts your tribe. But what if you're not aware of what your vibe is in the first place? You're going to end up lost in a sea of invisible likes.
And then your tribe becomes everyone else who's also trying to find their tribe.
Yeah.
So all the lost ones, it's like, what's the show? Not Hunger Games, the other one. Anyway, Divergent. Right? Where you've got the ones that didn't have a tribe. They didn't have whatever it was, that group.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Then you become defined by that. And then you look lost and you have no purpose. And you just try to do whatever you can just to make it, to get by. Because, the future is hopeless. Because, look, all the ones that have, and all the ones who are significant and respected and famous, they don't have time for us.
Have we arrived at a time when substance is a dying tribe? Or is being painted as the outcast? I don't want to use the word authenticity because you're going to shout us. But, people who know, people who are purposeful, people who are like, I don't care if I'm on or off social media. I don't care about the likes. I'm just chasing my purpose, right? The other side of it, the flexers are like, oh, there is something wrong with you. Like, how can you not post this?
Exactly.
Like, why are you not in this space, Yeah. I had a friend of mine who's probably listening to the show. She's going to be like, you're outing me. She went, oh, and I said, what? She says, I lost followers. And I'm like, my goodness, I I thought something really happened. She's like, it really happened. I lost followers. And I'm like, where? And she's like, on TikTok. Because I haven't been posting, so maybe they've lost interest and they just unfollow. I need to do something. I need to generate content. They need to come back. And I'm like, come back how? Where? Like, and that is also something that I want to dissect.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that, right? Do you know of anyone, or do you even go and look at the people you are following and see whether they're posting more or not, and then decide, oh, you haven't posted, no else, I'm unfollowing you?
I don't have the time.
No one's got the time, because most people are following a couple of hundred people, if not thousands of people at the same time.
I don't know whether I'm absent-minded or whether I'm not with it, Maybe because genuinely I don't pay attention.
Uh-huh.
I don't have the time, honestly.
So when you start tracking those kinds of numbers, you're literally fooling yourself into believing that that's something you can control. And I'm saying it's something you can control because you can't, right? Here's some crazy statistics that I've seen over the years. One of the things that I talked about previously, I think, is how the algorithms shape how many people actually see your post, right? Now, if you don't get the right kind of engagement on just the first few people that actually respond to the post or view the post, and they could be the completely wrong group of people that's looking at it, it won't go further than that. The algorithm just shuts it down because it's not popular. It's not the kind of stuff that people are going to want to scroll for more. So we drop it from the For You page and from the Discovery page and all of that, and we put other things that are more popular. Now you go and you look at that and you think, oh, that was a bad post. No, it wasn't a bad post. It's just that if you want to get it to the right audience, you're going to have to pay. You have to boost it to be able to get it to the audience that you want it to get to. Otherwise, you have to hope and pray that it's going to find organic reach. So when you start looking at these reactions and you start looking at all of this nonsense about like followers in that, there's a couple of things. Your follow counts drop because a lot of the bot accounts that were used to spam and follow and all of that so that they can create reach for brand collaboration and all of that, eventually the back end of Instagram and TikTok and all of that, they start identifying these bot accounts and they kill them. They shut it down. And then you lose followers. And you think, oh, you lost real people. No, you didn't have real people in the first place. So we need to be careful because, so coming back to that, right? Just to talk about how it is that this notion of social media reach destroys good relationships is that if you post something and you see a friend of yours or someone that you care about, they react a couple of times and then suddenly they stop reacting, you automatically assume they're not interested anymore. Meanwhile, they just don't see your posts anymore.
Yeah, like we don't go on the app. Haven't been on the app in a while.
Not even that. Even if you're on the app.
Yeah.
Even if you're on the app.
It's a personal thing.
Unless you specifically flag their account to say every single time that person posts, I want to see the post.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it unless the algorithm makes it available to you. And the algorithm is complex. It's not something as simple and straightforward as is it popular or is it not popular, right? There's many complexities to the algorithms. But if you don't realize how that works, you're going to be accusing people of not supporting you and not caring and not reacting and all of those sorts of things. Meanwhile, they didn't even see it unless they actually come looking for it.
Yeah, and ignorance is blissful. I mean, imagine there's people out there that are like having real beef with you because you don't react to my posts. And I'm there like, how are you?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is weird. I've got a problem with you, and I can't pinpoint what it is because I don't exist in that space I'm not present in that space. I'm present here.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I'm saying it's a clash. It's a clash. For those who are flexing and those who are of substance, not claiming to be, but I'm saying that you would think that the world functions this way. And then you get into the digital space and you realize there's a whole nother rodeo happening here. And you've got to know the rules and you've got to comply. And there are expectations that can ruin relationships if not met.
So don't gauge your quality of relationships based on your social media interactions. And coming back to substance or character versus flex, can you see how it is that the lack of self-awareness and understanding and conviction and purpose is what will lead you to trust in things that you have no control over?
Yeah.
right? Because then it's like if everyone is looking to that space to be popular, to be recognized, to be celebrated, or even worshipped in some cases, then that's the space I need to be in. And then you end up with the stupidity that you see in the public spaces of where people start behaving badly because they're so desperate to be the center of attention.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when they reinvent a celebrity's image. You know, they say good girl gone bad, Rihanna,
Yeah.
basically. The good girl act played itself out, and they had to reinvent her for her to become more popular.
Yes.
And the best way to do that is to go the other way.
People love a fall from grace in a recovery story, right?
There we go.
So they love someone who has lost it all and then comes back from it because it resonates so strongly with how they feel about their own struggles in life. Again, it just reflects that there's a lack of substance. If you're learning something from it deliberately, good. Go and look at what is their recovery story all about and what it is that they realize they got wrong so that you can identify that. But if you're just like going into the celebrity culture of it, come on. What are you losing out on in your own life when you are so distracted by all of that?
Yeah.
And then we claim, no, my partner doesn't get me and my partner doesn't understand me and we grew apart and we don't have anything in common. Yeah, because you have different algorithms. That's why you've got nothing in common.
I never thought algorithms will feature in couples therapy. But here we are. And thinking about the flexes, what is the void they're trying to fill?
Self-respect. If who I am, if I have good reason to believe that who I am is just not enough for people to really be endearing towards me, to really see me and want me to be in their space and all that. If that is lacking, I'm going to have to give them reason to notice me. I'm going to have to give them reason to respect me, to appreciate me and all of that. So the flex, the labels for the sake of labels, the right spaces, the right locations, the right venues, the right lifestyle, the right car, all of these things, that's because you want to be seen in that way, right? And in your early years, in the teenage years, you're still developing your identity and all of that. So it's understandable that this is how you're going about exploring and finding which spaces resonate and all of that. But when you are mature, are supposed to be a mature adult, and you're supposed to have purpose in your life, and you're pushing for something that's larger than life, your purpose, how does that serve anything?
You're basically saying I'm not enough. So I'm filling I'm like doing my profile here to make myself more acceptable, more valid. When we used to talk to these people, they were known as thrillers. We used to call them thrillers.
I haven't heard that for a long. That's a typical lens slang.
It is thriller Bobby.
Yeah, don't come thrill me like that.
Here comes a thriller Bobby now. Just watch. If it's hot, he's gonna say there where he is, it's hotter. If you got something better, he's gonna be betterer.
Yeah.
We know those people, and it's just innovated. It's evolved.
Yes.
It's evolved.
So
basically.
it's again the who's got the only one like that, who's got the before anyone else, and who was the first one to ever come out with this.
Exactly. It's original, and you're like, I saw you by Fortsburg Square.
Yeah.
We know, It's like you have these people who absolutely have to be on top, A game all the time, alpha, and you've got to measure up.
Because if they're not, they slip into the background, and that doesn't feel nice. So you're fighting it feels like a fight for survival. If I'm not significant, if I'm not noticed, if I'm not relevant, I become invisible. And I've always said, there's one thing worse than abuse, is to be invisible. With abuse, you still have something to work with the person who is abusive towards you and all of that, right? And I'm not condoning abuse, please, right? Just what I'm saying is that as bad as abuse is, it's not as bad as being invisible. So if you feel invisible, you need to consider why it is that you are so desperate and hungry for that visibility, not what do you need to do to become visible. Because then you're talking about what am I playing to? What's my reason for wanting to prevail in that space, wanting to be relevant in that space? And that's why on social media, especially on TikTok and those sorts of platforms, right, where it's about reels and about pranks and jokes and humor and all of that sort of thing, The one thing that will only keep you relevant is you have to be either sensationalistic or ludicrous, neither of which has self-respect. So if you're an entertainer, I promise you, go and look at entertainers who are completely different in their stage performance, in how they are in the public space compared to their personal life. And you sit and you look at them when they're having a personal moment, you'll see a completely, totally different energy and a totally different sense of self compared to what it is that they put out there as far as the entertainment content is concerned. And that's what I'm talking about. When all the lights are off and the focus is not on you, who are you?
Exactly. And that's a very, I think we've seen Robin Williams.
Yes. Whitney Houston, Robin Williams, Heath Ledger, so many that just imploded because their personal space was not what they needed. Toni Braxton as well, she suffered with lupus as well. And there was a documentary on her life with her family, and you can see why, right? So when who you are is not enough or is not important, and only what it is that people get from you, that is how you feel invisible.
And then you find that these people make themselves available when people need something from them constantly.
Yes.
And they're like, you only know me when you need something. But then why do you give in when people need something?
And that's why you have to be doing it because you believe it's important, not because they deserve it.
Exactly. You need to know the difference.
Yes. And that's where character comes from.
And boundaries.
But the boundaries are a natural consequence of that, right? If I'm doing something because I believe it's important, not because they deserve me to do it, whether they deserve it or not, if I think it's important enough to do, I'm going to do it. Then what they take from it, not my problem. I don't have to worry about boundaries, because if they take it for granted, I wasn't expecting appreciation, so that's not a boundary that was crossed. But if I'm doing it because I think they deserve it, and I'm going to sacrifice something so that they can have it, and hopefully they'll treat me better, now I'm creating a boundary that they're not going to respect because they don't even know the boundary is there. And then when they don't appreciate and they take it for granted, and we feel disillusioned and despondent and disappointed and hurt and all that, then we suddenly want to establish a boundary. Like, no, you take me for granted, so I'm not going to do anything for you anymore.
Yeah.
Why? Live with conviction, your conviction about why you think something is important. And if someone asks you for something that is important to them and you don't want to do it because you believe it goes against what you stand for, then that's a boundary you establish because of conviction, not because I have to have a boundary. This boundary story has to be values driven. It can't be a boundary as in a red line in the sand that everyone must just abide by. Because the boundary you're going to have with people around you is going to be different to the boundaries you're going to have with strangers and boundaries you're going to have with professional people.
I think we should talk about this issue of boundaries and how do we identify, establish, define, but more so bringing it back to our topic of today is that what in childhood is an indicator that this child is going to be a flexer?
When the child takes an unhealthy amount of kind of joy from just getting attention, where their efforts are to be the silly one, to be the life of the party, to be the one that's going to always do something that's going to attract attention, and they're not immersing themselves into anything that's like immersive, something that they can really sink their teeth into. If the only thing they focused on is being silly and being popular and doing things that other popular kids are doing in that, you've got a problem. What is it that you're building up a passion for within them? What are they wanting to create with their hands? Ideas. Talking about stuff.
Is that how we raise purposeful or purpose-driven individuals?
That's why parent-child engagement is so important. It's not just about discipline and rules and reward and punishment and consequence management. It's not about that. It's about engagement. You need to be able to understand what it is that is driving the interest of your child, and then being able to immerse yourself in that space with them so that you can help them nurture it. If you're not going to be doing that, they're not going to have any reason to believe that what they're interested in is important. And then they're going to abandon it, and they're going to look for what else is going to get your attention. And then that's going to get your attention, that becomes their idea of, this is my place.
Yeah, and then we have to call Coach Sage and be like, I have a problem, and it's not me, I raised this boy well.
And then the boy becomes a client and he says, I've got toxic parents.
Oh my God.
But, jokes aside, that's exactly how we get to that point, right?
Yes.
We get to that point where we have absolutely no reason to believe that our parent gets us or that our children gets us, right? And that disconnect is because there wasn't engagement, there was only duty.
Yes.
Service and duty. And I'm not saying that that is not important. I'm saying that it can't be the limit of our interaction with our children.
Hey, I'm thinking of my father who used to say, it is my duty to educate you, and it is my duty to feed you and get you married. And I was like, what? In that order. Feed you, educate you, get you married. But we don't think of how our parents were parented.
Yes.
It's a big factor.
It is a big factor.
Factor.
And this is something that I want to push back a little bit on today, is because yes, there is definitely merit in looking back and seeing how our parents were parented and what it is they were working with, so that what we take from their efforts is more healthy, right? Get that. But as parents, just because you raised them and got them married doesn't mean you have to stop learning.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you know everything about life, because every day of your life, this sounds so philosophical, but it's not. Every day of your life is a new phase of your life that you've never ever lived before, right? Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
So when you marry your children off, that's a new phase of your life as well, not just their life, because you've never had married children before.
True.
And then you have to show up as a support system for that phase of life that they're in. And if you're going to sit back and say, no, I don't want to interfere. Yeah. You're supposed to be interfering, but in a constructive way.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a healthy relationship with them already by then you're just going to be seen as interfering. You're not going to be seen as concerned and invested and wanting to guide them and assist them in navigating those early troubled years of marriage where you're trying to find your balance. That's why we have so much divorce. Not because people are just nonsense and they're finding bad partners in that. It's because their support structures failing them.
That is very profound. The amount of future topics we have right now. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But flexing versus substance, yeah.
Can you see?
Very, very important topic.
Uh-huh. And if you are drawn towards flex, here's where it gets colorful. Because let's say there's two people that were flexing and they were drawn to each other's flex, right? The pomp and the splendor and the labels and the lacquer lifestyle and all of that, right? Just in case there's some people out there who don't understand what flexing is about, right? Especially the older people, our generation.
We're not really sure.
So if two people are attracted to each other's flex, the reason why that is not sustainable is because by having that significant other, either one or both of them, ideally both of them, should then shift towards substance. Because now I found my person, and now we can build something together.
Yeah.
But if one or the other doesn't make that shift, and the one person then took the comfort and the assurance and the sense of significance from, I've got my person now, that's when they outgrow each other, because the one is beyond flexing now. Now we've got a life of substance and responsibility, and we need to do something, like we need to take things seriously, right? We can't just be social animals anymore.
Yeah.
And the other one is still like, no, you're getting boring now, because like this is not what attracted me to you. I want that fun person that I used to be with. No, life happens and life continues, whether you're ready to embrace it or not. And if you don't embrace it as it's happening, it will club you in ways that you never see coming. Life will humble you.
True.
Even if you are committed and focused and invested, life will still humble you, because that's how life works. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. So if you're going to focus on your flex, and you're going to go through life flexing, and the whole world is going to be celebrating your flex, I promise you there's going to be a whole lot of people around you that you're letting down.
You know what this is reminding me of? A book by Robin Sharma called The Secret Letters of the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Okay.
It's a really good book. Flexing versus purpose.
Right.
And how life will humble you and get you to a point of, now go look for your purpose.
Exactly. And eventually, no matter how many self-help books you read, no matter what content you come across, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. You're going to have to take that and apply it realistically within the context of your life and who you are. and you're going to have to connect those dots. And if you're going to be adopting people's ways of like, okay, no, now you must do it like this and you must stop doing that and start doing this, that's going to have limited effect because you're still following someone else's recipe.
What is the lesson of the day?
Lesson of the day: if you still need people to see how cool you are, and you actually in a stage of life where you have responsibility, then I think you need to be careful because chances are you're not fulfilling your responsibilities. You don't realize what impact you have on others when you're too focused on how it is that you want others to see you. And that talks to that point we raised, I think, in last week's episode about last week's discussion about healing journeys. Same thing. If you're not aware of what impact you have while you're so taken up by that thing that you need for yourself, then chances are you're creating an unpleasant experience for people around you who are not finding you emotionally available to them because you're so consumed by what your emotional needs are.
Very, very true. And a very important topic for the future. I think I have 5. I have 5. But Coach Zaid, it's been such a pleasure. Our hour goes so quickly.
Yes, it does.
But I think that today we've learned a lot. I think that wisdom is something that comes at you and it's not loud. It's calm.
Yes.
You know? And flexing versus purpose. I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing our generations consumed by flex. We're seeing them, thinking this is the definition. I've made it. You're 18. You're driving your father's car. You didn't work for it, You're flexing, but you don't know what goes into it.
And here's the scary part, right? Because nowadays there's 12-year-olds who can be millionaires as well because of the social media economy, right? But even if you are 18 and you're driving your own car and it's a flex, understand it's a flex. It doesn't mean you have substance. Right? Substance is what's going to clap you when life gets real and that flex doesn't actually solve the problem for you.
Yo, that is absolute. I hope that people take this lesson in, and I hope that they watch this or they listen to this 3 and 4 times over, because it should be good supper table talk. Are you a flexer or are you living your life on purpose?
Yeah. Very few people actually know what it means to live your life on purpose because they're so busy reacting and surviving.
Very true. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jazakallah khair for your time, for your wisdom, for sharing with us, and I know our listeners definitely enjoyed it. A lot of them are laughing at the fact that we said the word thrillers. They don't know when last they've heard that word. But we will not be thrilling you next week, same time, same place. Jazakallah.
Always a pleasure.
And that, dear listeners, was the Chat Network for today. You stay tuned to East Wave FM. I'm back with you between 7 and 10. And Coach Zaid is back with you every Wednesday between 9 and 10. So, it's brilliant. I think that if you haven't spoken to him already, you need to. It's a sobering conversation.